Okay, welcome to the sixth video. In this video, what we're going to be talking about is using the Vlookup and a few other functions to pull this definition into your data so we can use our pivot tables. Now, in the previous video, all of this was not filled in. What I did was just use what I have existing already to populate it, but as you understand, what you would do is you would simply select from the drop-down boxes to define what these lines of accounting are for your site, for your address directory. And so if you don't find them in here, like for example, I don't have Bach R1 in here, simply do like the prior videos, expand this table, add Bach R1. You can sort them to keep them in the order. You also see I have things like action required or deems entry error, things that I use to try to keep my eye on my lines of accounting and the funds as they're coming through. So again, take your time to do this part. It will take a little bit of time, and then edit these as you need them. So the Vlookup, let's go ahead and go back into our data all the way to the top of funds control. And so if you'll remember, let me go back here, I named this table description table, just like we had done named ranges. So it's going to make this a little bit easier. So the first part, we're just going to do a normal Vlookup. So equals Vlookup, tab, and my lookup value is my Pateo. I'm going to hit comma and it says table array. Well, that's my description table. So as I type in DESC, it says, do you want this? And it's exactly what I want. Column index number is the column in my description table that I want to return the value for. So that happens to be 2, and I'll go back and show you that real quick. And then approximate match or exact match. We want an exact match. It's a 0, or you can type in false. But I want to make sure that every time it does this lookup that I'm either finding an exact match, or if not, then I'm going to tell it what I want it to tell me. So this is the first part. So I'm going to hit enter. As you can see, it says Bach 01, and I can select my drop down now, and it shows me all of the different ones I have. So the next thing we want to do, and for example, let's say that some of these weren't in there. So let's say it didn't find one. It's going to kick me an error, or it's going to give me the value of 0 if I haven't defined it. So if I haven't selected a drop down and it's blank, it's going to give me the value of 0, and if it just can't find it, it's going to say error. Well, I want it to be consistent, so the first thing I'm going to do is put an if statement in here, and just follow along with me. So I'm going to say if the value of this equals 0, okay, if that's the value that that Vlookup function returns to me, then I type in the underscore, brings the define new Pateo, kind of sets it aside as well, and it brings it to the top of sorting list. So define new Pateo in quotation marks because I'm doing text. And that's the value if it does equal 0. And I'm going to hit comma, and it says, well, what's the value if false? Well, the value if false is going to be my Vlookup. I just wanted to do a normal Vlookup then. Close the parentheses and hit enter. Okay, now I've got that check built in. So it's going to tell me, hey, define new Pateo if I haven't selected my drop-down boxes. The next thing we combat is if there's an error value. So there's a function called if error. So I'm going to type in IFE, and there you see it right there. It's going to say what's the value. So the value is whatever this if statement gives me, and then I'm going to type in value if a comma, and then it says, well, what's the value if this if statement returns an error? And what I want that value to be is the exact same thing as if the Vlookup came back with a 0. I want the value if error to be define new Pateo. So now, no matter what happens, it's either going to give me what I selected in my drop-down box, or it's going to give me define new Pateo. Okay, so I filled this out. The next thing is to do is to move this over into these other categories. Now, like I said, funds control. In this description table, we have column 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so with this VLOOKUP, funds control is column 2. Well, my next is commodity. I'm going to highlight the whole thing, escape, come in here and paste it into here, and all I'm going to change is my column reference is now 3. I'm still looking up the potato from the same table, it's just a different column, so all I've done is change it to 3 and 3, hit enter. Alright, and you can see my commodities are pulled in. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just like before, you would hit Control C, I'm hitting escape, selecting the formula bar, Control V, going 4 and 4, and hit enter. And now what I've done is, through a few different things, I've populated my helper columns in my data that will automatically refresh, and the only thing I have to do is to keep this description table updated. So if you do have a new potato that comes into your soft data, what you would end up doing is, as we did before, you would find it in your raw data, and I'll show you this more later, but you'll find it in your raw data. You're going to paste it right into here, paste value, and then define it, and then that will come and populate into here. Now I'm going to do the deems soft in the background to save on some time, but it's the same exact thing. You would just put that VLOOKUP in there, you're looking up the potato and the description table. And that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next.